Before this video starts, I want to quickly mention that this is July's Patreon print, so if you would like to receive this in the post, it is the art I'm making in this video. If you would like to receive this in the post, pledge to the little snips tier on my Patreon page at any point in the month of July, and then all the prints get sent out at the start of, what's the month after July? August. The link to my Patreon is in the description. Hello, welcome to another How I Collage video. This piece of paper looks really small. It's because the camera I'm using a wide-angled lens. This is A4 and I'm going to be making a boat today, like a canal boat, barge boat, that kind of style of boat. I've made a mood board. This is inspired by, I live pretty close to a river and it's just lined with loads of canal boats, and every time I go on a run I think, oh, I should do a collage of one of these boats. Got a mood board. I'm going to kind of mash together a bunch of different boats that I've found and fill it with flowers. So it's a whole top of it's going to be flowers. This is all going to be flowers. Maybe do a little bit of water, but I'm not going to do much of a background. It's mainly just going to be loads of detail on the boat. Yesterday I did some planning. I did think about doing maybe a bit of a scene because it's quite a pretty view that I took a picture of, and I was thinking of trying to incorporate that in, but I think I want that to be its own separate collage because I want this boat to be really filled with loads of plants and detail. So if I was going to do like a little boat in a scene like this, I wouldn't be able to get in all the details which I want to, so I'll save this idea for another day. I did this sketch, nope, wrong page. I did this sketch of, I'll pop up the reference picture. I've obviously popped on a lot more plants. Yeah, it's not the best sketch to be honest. I was rushing it and I don't like it. I think I've decided, well I have decided I want a much more like pointier side on the boat. I just think it makes it look a lot more like a canal boat. This is my template. Basically I took a picture of this, took it to my laptop, zoomed in to make it much bigger, traced that to get this template, and this is what I'm going to be collaging onto. I've already picked a bunch of my papers which I've got around me on my desk. I'm thinking I like the colour palette of this boat, which I'll pop up on screen, red, green, yellow, but I think I'm going to combine that with the bottom of this boat, so have more of a black bottom half of the boat. I'll see, I might do it and not like it, but I just thought, because the boat's going to be filled with so many plants, it might just be green overload, so have at least a bit of black, so it's not all green. Usually when I do these How I Collage videos, there's a lot of real-time talking. I don't think I'm going to do that for this video just because it's so hot. I need the fan on and I need the door open, and that's quite noisy and not the best sound quality, but I can only go so long without having something to cool me down because it's so hot. This video will be voiceover, but I'll do little check-ins as I go along to kind of give you real-time thoughts because I think they're interesting to kind of hear what I'm thinking in the moment. I've gone through my bigger folders, selected a bit of paper from my bigger folders, but even from this paper that I've selected, I still need to get a lot more picky with what I'm using. So I'm going to go through, find the specific shades and colours that I want and try and start cutting them somewhat to the size of the template. Hello, I'm going to do a voiceover for a little bit now, and then I'll, throughout the video, a bit of real-time a bit of real-time talking will pop up here and there. If you've watched a few of these videos at this point, this is maybe like video number 5 of my How I Collage series. They all follow the same structure. I have selected all my papers beforehand, like I mentioned, and now I'm going through and I'm just like shuffling through my papers and I'm picking the best bits from each sheet. Well, not even every sheet. Sometimes I do pick like a little bit of my a favourite section of each sheet and then figure out how to piece it together. But for this, I had such a clear vision of like what I wanted the textures to be. I was being quite picky with the pieces I was cutting out, and then after I cut out a few shapes, I had a selection of potential shapes to use. This is that pile of potential shapes, and then it's a case of, as my dad would say, offering them up. Just offer it up and see how it looks. I offer it up to my template. Does it look nice in this position? I like that texture. Okay, let's trim it down to make it the perfect size. And I wanted to like really layer up the texture. I wanted the bottom of the boat to look a little bit, you know, like it's been sitting in a river for a while. Mouldy and rusty. I don't know the right words, but that kind of look. So I wanted lots of kind of speckly texture and a bit of like a yellowness to it, like this kind of algae, is that the right word, growing on the side of the boat, that kind of look, and I'm just gluing it onto my template. Okay, so here's my first update. I got a little bit carried away, to be honest, and didn't film a bit. Well, I didn't film for not that long, but it's just this came together so quickly. So what I've done, you can see this is the original template that I cut out. It has been chopped up into lots of little parts. At this point now, I don't really need this anymore. I have everything here, but I just keep all these pieces safe just in case I do need to come back to them. So I keep them safe and out of the way so they don't get lost in the mess of paper everywhere. The next step would just be to start sticking all of this down. Usually I try not to stick down for as long as possible because you never know when you want to move something and change it, but for this, like, it's just so fiddly to try and like place shapes on top of this because it's just like one little thing and then everything moves around. So I'm just going to get stuff stuck down. As for the colour palette, I think I'm happy with it. I think right now it's a little bit boring, but hopefully I've got to trust the process. It will start looking good once flowers start getting added in. Added in. I was thinking of doing like red, because when I think of a canal boat I think of this classic like red and green colour scheme, but I don't know, it's not really working for me here. I don't know if this is just the wrong shade of red, maybe I need a darker red, but I don't know, I'm just having second thoughts about this colour palette, so I might try something different, figure out these two panels here, get a roof on, and then I can do the fun bit, which is adding in all the details. I love all the textures on the bottom of this. Continuing on with my voiceover, I decided, like I mentioned, just to start sticking stuff down, especially because I wasn't going to put a background on this piece. I thought it's fine to stick it down. If I'm doing a background, I would have made all the boat separately and then obviously stuck that on afterwards, but I wasn't worrying about a background. I do at the end put like a bit of water on, but not much, keeping all the focus mainly on the boat. What am I saying? So stuck that down, got my main shapes stuck down, and then started to like build up the main sides of the boat, knowing full well that like a lot of it was going to get covered up with a lot more detail. In the end, because I was struggling with the colour palette, I didn't know whether to go for like the red. I mean, I do have a bit of the red and green colour palette because I've got that red stripe along the bottom, but it was going to originally be a lot more red than it ended up being, with like the top panel as well being covered by a lot of red. Decided against that and just went for a lighter green, which I think worked really well. I think if I went for the red on the top half of the boat as well, it just would have been way too busy. Shuffled around some paper for a while, tried a few different options of green. What I'm showing here in this video is like 10% of the actual paper shuffling which happened. I did a lot of off-screen paper shuffling to figure out what colours I wanted to go there. When I found that little piece of green with a nice highlight of kind of more of a yellowish green, I was like, this is the one, this is the piece. And then for a while I was playing around with like doing a yellow trim around every side of the smaller green rectangles. It was a bit too busy. I don't think I even showed that. I don't think I recorded that bit. So I ended up just with like one little yellow strip down the middle. I wanted a little bit more contrast with the dark green background of the boat and then the lighter green panels, so I went back in with some coloured pencil and neo colour. Like with collage, if you have a piece of paper which is almost perfect and you just need to like, it just needs to be a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, coloured pencils come in really handy for that. Just saves, having to trying to find the exact perfect colour sometimes can be really tricky. I have got hundreds of pieces of paper in quite a big folder, and trying to find one little piece of paper from that big folder, it's just too much work, and sometimes you don't even have it. Even though I have all that paper, I don't have every colour under the sun, so just get a coloured pencil and just change it to be slightly the right colour. To do all the details on the boat, I was playing around again off camera. I didn't record this because it just, sometimes with collage I can record something and maybe it's like, we'd be recording for like 15 minutes and then I watch it back and just nothing's happened. Absolutely nothing's happened. I've just slightly moved a few pieces of paper and most of the time was just me thinking about things and nothing happening. So sometimes stuff happens off camera because I just don't want to like have 15 minutes of footage with like taking up space on my memory card, where nothing's really happened. So that was one of those cases. In the end, I decided to go and use my paint pens. I think this could be the first time I've used my paint pens in a collage outside of making a character. They turned out really well. Originally, I was going to do this in the flower pattern in watercolour because I've done that in the past and it looks quite good. But I thought I wanted it to be paler. Like the watercolour only works if you're making something like doing a pattern on top of something which is darker. You can't really paint something lighter in watercolour. That's just how it works. So I use the paint pen instead. That way I could have a lighter pattern on top of the background. Okay, I'll do another check-in now. The base of the boat I think is finished. Let's have a look at my sketch. Am I missing anything? I'm missing just a few, I'm just missing a few, extra details, like the things that hang off the ropes on the side of boats. This back bit really should have, a wall here, but I'm not going to worry too much about that because I think this whole thing is going to be filled with plants anyway, you won't even see. And so now I need to cut out loads of plant pots, figure out where they're going to go, and then make loads of plants just coming out. Oh, and there's going to be a little stick with bunting coming down. I'm going to look through my little folder here, which is just full of scraps basically. Just pick out pieces of paper which I like the look of. What makes a piece of paper good? I couldn't really tell you, it's just like gut instinct. Do I like the texture? Do I like the colour? So I'll make a pile of nice paper, cut some plant pots from it. And when I say cut some plant pots, I literally mean I'm going to cut a rectangle. And that's as advanced as I'm getting with them. Continuing on to the final nice details now. I say final details, but I still had a long way to go in this collage. But to be honest, I'm actually surprised at how quickly I managed to get this piece done. I was fully prepared that this was going to take maybe 2 days, 2 full days of work. And it only ended up taking 1 day of work. But it was a long day of work. I think I stopped around 9:30 and I'd been working on it. I think I didn't start until after dinner, to be fair, lunchtime. The 12 o'clock. I think I started probably around 1 o'clock and finished at 9, and obviously I ate food in between that time and had a little bit of a break. So you know what, for me that's quite quick for a collage, but a lot of time was spent cutting out many different plant pots and trying to figure out the best arrangement for them. This is when collage is really fun, in my opinion, because sometimes it can be a bit of a headache, I'm not gonna lie. Especially getting started, it can be so daunting. But this part where you can just cut out loads of little bits and play around with the arrangement, because really, did it matter what order these went in? Not really. It wouldn't have made that much of a difference to the piece if, a red plant pot was in the spot that the blue plant pot's currently in. Will it make that much of a difference? No. So it's low pressure. It's looking cute, and no matter what I do, it will end up looking pretty good because it looks nice already. So this is the fun part, shuffling plant pots around until I like the arrangement. Very low pressure and fun. And then these are just this is what makes collage kind of worth it, in my opinion, the detail stage, because it just comes together so quickly. Not so much with this collage because it does look quite nice already, but with some collages, and you've seen this in my past videos, they can look pretty dreadful up until about the final 80% of the collage, I guess the final 20% of the collage. Just those final few details can take a collage from being pretty mediocre and boring to wow, this is the best thing I've ever made. Yeah, and these plant pots, they really made it, because I did like the way it was looking, but I did think it looked a bit boring. And then as soon as I just started placing some flowers on the roof, I was like, this is it, now this is print worthy. Because have I mentioned, I don't think I've mentioned, this is to be turned into a Patreon print. I probably have mentioned it at the start of this video because I imagine this video will come out in the month that this is the Patreon print. So if I've done a good job at editing this video, I will have said it at the start. So yeah, that needs to get done. I need to note to self, edit that into the start of this video. But yeah, this is going to be a Patreon print, which means it needs to be nice enough to turn into a print. There was always a little bit of pressure when I'm making something in my head, where I know in my head this is going to be a print. When these little final details started going on, I was like, phew, sigh of relief, it is print worthy, it is nice. I should probably mention, this is up for sale on my website. It'll be linked in the description, the original piece. Obviously, first come, first serve. There's only one of them. Once it's gone, it's gone. So it will be linked in the description if you want to buy the original. Not sure how much I'm going to put it up for money-wise currently. Need to figure that out. Basically, just figure out how long did I spend on it. What's my hourly rate? There you go. That's how much it costs. Although sometimes I should sell them for a lot more sometimes, considering how long I spent on them. But sometimes I just, It's hard, isn't it, deciding how much to sell your art for sometimes, and you feel like, oh, I shouldn't sell it for that much, surely, even though you spent like 5 days straight on it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This is up for sale on my website. Feel free to have a nosy. It might not be there because once it's gone, it's gone. I say that, but you know, there's still pieces on there which have been up for months and no one's bought, but then there's been pieces which have been up for a day and multiple people have asked about them, so I really have no idea how quick it will go and if it will go. Final details now. Adding on some nice flowers and bunting. Oh, the bunting looks so cute. I saw a picture on Pinterest of a boat with bunting. I just thought, yes, I need to have a boat with bunting, even though in real life I've not actually seen them. I don't know how practical bunting on the top of a boat is. Would it just like blow away? I don't know, but it looks cute. And then the water came together really quickly. With water, I found just a really effective way to make it look quite good is just getting quite like blocky rectangular shapes, cutting out like a little thin semicircle shape from a few of them and lining them up and have some of like the little thin semicircle-esque curve shapes overlap a little bit. I mean, I've done a lot of my collages involve water. I make a lot of beach themed pieces, so I have at this point collaged so many oceans and so many water scenes, so I just feel like I've gotten very quick at it. I know how to piece together paper to make a pleasing bit of water, and this technique works really well for me. Not too much detail because the boat was obviously full of detail, so I didn't want to put loads of detail into the water, but came together really quickly. I don't think I've mentioned it all in this video. I'll quickly mention it now. In case you're wondering how I paint my paper, I paint it with acrylic paint. It's onto printer paper, so it's nice and thin, and yeah, because if I use paper that's too thick, like much thicker than printer paper, it just, because there's so many layers, it just gets way too thick, and it's much easier to glue printer paper because it's thinner, it's easier to stick. And if you want to see me how I paint paper, I've featured it in previous how I collage videos. I've made exclusive videos all about it on my Patreon. There's many videos where I paint paper. This was not one of them. But in case you're wondering, that is it. Oh, and the paper I collage onto is watercolour paper. 300 GSM watercolour paper because I like it to be on thick, nice paper. And that rounds up the video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this boat come together. If you want to get a reprint of this, Patreon's the place to be. Little snips here. They will get posted out to you A5 print. And if you want to buy the original, it's on my website. Don't know how long it's going to be up for, but there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.